Hello everyone. So today we are going to see the longest common subsequence problem. So let's directly jump into the problem statement and try to see what they want from us. So given two strings, text1 and text2, return the length of their longest common subsequence. If there is no common subsequence, then return 0. So in addition to this, they have also explained what a subsequence is. A subsequence of a string is a new string generated from the original string with some characters can be none deleted without changing the relative order of the remaining characters. It's basically just like a subset of an array where you can take a like continuous. For example, if we have an array something like this 0 1 2 3 4, so any subset of this array would be 0 2 and 4. So we have omitted 1 and 3, but we have not changed the order of these three elements. In a similar way, a subsequence of this string will be A, C, E or A, B, D, C, D, E. So we can like pick some characters from this string, but the condition is that the ordering should remain the same. Like D cannot come before C. So that is a subsequence. So what this problem is asking of us is we need to find such a subsequence which is common to both the strings text1 and text2, and we have to return the length of it. They are not interested in getting the actual subsequence, but they just want the length from us. So for example, in this given example, in the example that is shared with us, we can clearly see that the longest subsequence will be ACE itself. So here string s2 is itself a subsequence of s1 and its length is 3. So they will want for us to return 3 in this case. Okay, so now we know what a subsequence is. Now let's try to see how will we find the longest subsequence which is common to both the strings. So we have these two strings s1 and s2. First one is a b c d e. Second one is a c e. Okay, so let's say that I'm starting from the very end. I have put one pointer here and second pointer here. Let's call this as I, let's call this as j. We can start from the beginning also, but I am choosing to start from the end. So let's see what will happen when both these pointers are here. If we for both the characters, if that character has to be part of the common subsequence, then whichever pointer whichever character this pointer is pointing to and whichever character this pointer is pointing to, they both should be equal. Otherwise they cannot be basically part of the common subsequence. So here in this case, like I is also pointing to E and J is pointing to E, so both of these are same. It means that E can possibly be a part of the common subsequence. It's not guaranteed, but it may be possible. So but let's say this string was something different. This was not E here, this was something different. Let's I'm for explanation I'm changing this to, let's say there was a B here. So now this character is E and this character is B. So now they are not equal. So what to do now? So I simply have two choices. Either I can ignore this character, either I can ignore E or I can ignore B. At least one of these two options I will have to take, because since these two are not equal, either this character has to be eliminated or is this character has to be eliminated. So where we had started from, we had started from A, B, C, D and E and A, C and B. Since the end characters are not equal, I have two choices. I can either try to find the common subsequence of A, B, C, D and A, C, B. Here I have ignored the last E character, or the other choice could be A, B, C, D, E and AC. Here we have ignored the B character. So from this it is clear that if the last characters are not matching, then we have two choices. Either we can ignore the last character from first string or from the second string, and then whichever gives us the maximum value, we will consider that one. But in case these characters are matching, then we will have additional one more option. So this was the case when the last characters are not matching. But in case they are same, let's for example ABCDE and ACE. So here E and E both are same. So now we have three choices. First choice is we consider this character in both the strings. Then we will need to find out which is the longest common subsequence for ABCD and AC, and then we will plus 1 to it, or the same two options that were here, which is ignore the first character, the last character from first string, or ignore the last character from second string. But here we will not be adding plus one because we have not we have basically ignored a character from either of the strings. So why are we not sure that this will always this particular branch where we have considered the character, that it is not always ensuring us that it will be the overall final best result, because that may not always be true. It may still be the case that either of these branches yield a better result. So that is why we will just basically consider all three cases in the scenario when these two characters are matching. So now let's try to see how we will be building a DP table. So our DP table in this case will be a two-dimensional array of size. We will initialize it with s1 length plus 1 and s2 dot length plus 1. Cool. So I will explain why we are doing this plus 1. So we will just need to understand some base cases, and we also need to understand what each cell in this table is representing. So basically dp of I comma j will represent LCS of s1 and s2 up to length I and j respectively. So basically if the length of s1 is 5 and I am saying that dp of 2 comma 3, then it will be representing what is the LCS value for S1 if the first two characters are considered, and if the first three characters of S2 are considered. That is what this particular cell is representing. So in the end, our result will be in, we need to find out the LCS of the overall string. So we will just simply need to return the last, we will consider the full length, and similarly the full length of second string. So now we know what a cell is representing, and now let's try to understand the base cases. So the base case will simply be whenever any string is of zero length, then LCS will be 0. So this is this case. For example, if I ask you what is the LCS of this empty string and ABC, so the only LCS will be an empty string which is of zero length. So basically this is true for a reverse case also. I mean, if the first string is ABC and second one is empty, even then the length would be 0. So now let's try to see how the table is getting filled up, and then it will be better to understand. So here I have created the initial DP table, and initially these values will all be 0, but I am just showing the ones which we are going to remain just the way they are. Rest of the values we will be filling as we go along. So this is due to the base cases that I had explained earlier. So basically here, any of the string, whenever any of either of the strings is of zero length, the length of LCS is 0, and ultimately here is where our answer will be lying at the very end. So now let's start from here. So now if we are considering only one character of both strings, which is A and A. So now A and A are matching. If both the characters match, then I have three choices, which is first one is I need to check in the left cell or in the right cell or in the diagonal plus one in case of a match. If there is a mismatch, only these two will be considered. So here A and A match. So I have to take maximum of either this value, or this value plus 1. So which will be 1. So we will put 1 here. Now we come to A and C. So now we are trying to find the LCS of A and AC. So here A and C are not matching. So it will be maximum of either this value or this value, which will be 1. Then similarly for A and E are not matching. So it will be maximum of these two, which is 1. Then we come to B and A. So now we are trying to find the LCS of AB and A. Now B and A are again not matching. So it will be maximum of either 1 or 0, which is 1. Then B and C, same story. B and D are again a mismatch. Then again we will put a 1. Now we come to C and A. C and A are again a mismatch. Then we will put 1. Now C and C are match. So it will be either 1, it will be maximum of 1, comma 1, or this value plus 1. So which will be 2. So here we will put 2. Then for C and D, again we will this is a mismatch, so it will be maximum of this value and this value, so 2. Then again for D and D, it will be 1. D and C is again a mismatch, so maximum of 1 comma 2, which is 2. For D and D, again a mismatch, so maximum of 2 comma 2, which is 2. Then E and A, again a mismatch, maximum of 0 comma 1, which is 1. For E and C, again a mismatch, maximum of 2 and 1, which is 2. Then E and D, E and D is a match, so it will be maximum of 2 comma 2 or 2 plus 1, which is 3. So here we will put 3. So now ultimately this cell will be holding 3, which is also our answer. And as we can see from the example, the expected length is also 3. So this is how our DP table is getting filled up. I hope the visualization is pretty clear. Now we will jump to the code for this. So coming to the code, the coding part would be very, very simple to understand if we understand the logic. So let's start with initializing our DP array. We will initialize it with text1. For making it smaller, let's name it as S1 and S2. I don't want to write too much unnecessary code. So it will be S1 dot length plus 1 and then S2 dot length plus 1. Cool. So initially everything will be initialized with 0. We'll simply start with length 1 and we'll go up to the length of first string. Similarly for int j, length 1 until up to the length of second string and j plus plus. So first of all, dp of I and j needs to be filled here, and ultimately dp of s1 dot length comma s2 dot length, this will be holding our result, final result. Cool. So now initially, irrespective of whether the two characters are matching, we will we need to take a maximum of either the left cell or the top cell, basically ignoring the last character from either of the strings. So let's go ahead and do that. So the left one will be I comma j plus 1, oh sorry, j minus 1, and the top one will be I minus 1 comma j. Now additionally we will check if these last characters are matching. So since this I and j represent the length, so for the index we will minus 1. So if these two are matching, we will additionally take the maximum of whichever is my current value, or 1 plus the diagonal value, which will be I minus 1 comma j minus 1. As simple as that. So not a very lengthy code. Let's try to run it and see if it is passing. Okay, so the basic cases are getting passed. Let's try to submit and see. Cool. So all cases are getting accepted. So thanks for watching. If you have any doubts, please leave them in the comment section below, and we will see you in the next video.